Welcome to Henry and Henry. And this, at the side of us here is Jane Loewy, who works for the Salus Fatigue Foundation. And you have yourself, Jane, overcome a fatigue condition, fibromyalgia. And we were really excited to hear that you're getting fitter and you're doing quite a lot now. We haven't spoken much since you did the Buteyko breathing retraining. So I'm really keen to know how you're getting on, but particularly from the perspective of you doing a 5K run with your mouth closed. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I had a house move in between that, which obviously knocked things about. And I am not sure what the contributing factors are, but I have had, apart from one night, I've had much better sleep. Obviously, there are all sorts of different factors. It's darker here than it was. We've got a different mattress, but you know, which bits have contributed. I'm taking it as I'm having much better night's sleep, and I go to sleep a lot quicker when I wake up in the night, which, you know, sometimes happens. I've been swimming, as you know, sort of before, during and after, so I'm still doing that, and wherever possible, apart from my swim and yak with one of my friends, yeah, do that because I don't go facing the water, so I do that with nose closed. But I watched
nose closed.
Sorry?
Mouth closed or nose closed for that?
Sorry, both. No, one more than the other. The mouth is closed, the nose isn't, because otherwise I would be submerged. Yeah. But I watched my son playing rugby on New Year's Day. Was it Boxing Day? Boxing Day, I think it was. And he hadn't done any fitness for a while. And he is super fit, and he was running around this pitch having not done any aerobic work for a long time. And he inspired me to start moving again, because I had been doing bits of running on and off. And I thought, no, I was really impressed with him. He really got stuck in and he ran around for 90 minutes, not having done much running. He ate like mad the following couple of days, which is fine. That's the body's response. But I thought, I think I want to start running little bits again. I want to feel what he was feeling. You could see it on his face when he was running around on the pitch. And I thought, yeah, I choose to, and I want to just try getting out for a little bit of a trot again. So I think I did a few before New Year, and then on New Year's Day, one of the international park runs, the 5Ks, was over a really nice hilly Forestry Commission wood not too far away. So I thought, all right, I'll give that a go.
And
so was that run done from scratch with your mouth closed and just breathing through your nose then?
I ought to check Strava, but I'd done about 2 or 3 2-mile-ish runs before then, and they were all with my nasal breathing. So mouth was closed for the majority of those. The only times that it was open was either when I spoke to somebody, because I know a lot of walkers and dog walkers and things in the village, so there was a bit of that. And when I had to blow my nose, because it was so damp here, I was noticing that I was getting quite a damp nose. So they were the sort of only 2 reasons. And I was gently surprised. There were a few gentle pulls, which that's when I really noticed that I was needing to remember to do it. But anything that was on the flat, down and minimal incline, it was really comfortable, really easy. And then the run, if I'm really honest, the park run, I know, again, I was talking to some people, because you know, it's nice and social and you're chatting, and it was the first one that I'd done, and it's quite hilly, so I'm not 100% sure that 100% of it was done. I think I may have reverted a couple of times, just where I really felt I needed a couple of gulps before I was back on it again.
That's really impressive, though, to do that from scratch. And did you have any kind of difficulty getting in enough air through your nose? Did you find you had to like slow down or do anything differently just to be able to maintain the run with your nose closed?
Any of the sort of training runs that I've done, the 1 or 2 mile runs that I've done, so that's about 3 or 4K that I was doing. None of those I felt the need at all. They felt very, very, very easy, very normal, very natural. As I said, there were a couple of continual hills, and you're encouraging each other as well. So I think that possibly midway on a couple of those, before I got to the top, I sucked in a bit of air, but through my mouth rather than through my nose. But that was partly because of talking, because either being encouraged or encouraging others, and just the hills were a bit longer than any that I'd done little ones around.
But it's fair to say that you've never really tried this before, up to recently, running.
No, I think I use my nose quite a bit most of the time, but then we auto default to think that the only way is to go and it's really quite easy not to.
Yeah.
And chatting to Dave, my husband, I said to him, because he's got a road bike now, and he's using a static wheel thing. So he's got his cycle trainer in the house. And I said, and are you nasal breathing? He said, I do all the time whenever I'm doing anything like that. He said, because my mouth gets too dry if I do that, and I don't like that. So yeah. So we're sort of encouraging each other a little bit, but it's something that's a bit natural. It's quite nice.
That's really impressive though, Jane, to hear that, because a lot of people, I think, when they first try it, they will find that it's actually too much. And they either have to slow their pace or maybe breathe through their mouth on the exhale and then breathing through the nose that way. When I first tried it, which was we're going back now probably about 4 months ago, I could only breathe through my nose for about 100 to 200 yards. And I couldn't believe how difficult it was. It was almost like my nostrils were closing with the pressure of taking in the air through my nose. So I had to actually breathe through my mouth as well as I was running that first time. So what I tried the next time, and it's been the game changer for me, was to wear one of those like anti-snoring strips, the sticking plasters over my nose, which pulls your nostrils wider open, and it works brilliantly. And since then, I've every run I've done, I've managed to maintain it through my nose. You mentioned also about your nose running, which is quite common when you're breathing through your nose, particularly until you get used to it. And I always have to take tissues with me because I do actually tend to, my nose decongests basically, which is one of the things that happens when you breathe through your nose. It's down to the action of nasal nitric oxide and carbon dioxide, which helps to dilate the airways. But I'm really impressed that you've done that like straight away in a 5K run. How did you feel during the run in terms of fatigue, tiredness, muscle ache, and after the run? Did you notice any changes?
I noticed one lady said to me, she who I'd started running with, and I said, oh, I've not done this, I've not run a 5K, I've not done the park run for quite a long time. And at the end of it, she caught up with me and she went, God, you ate up that last hill, didn't you? Yeah, I felt quite comfortable. It did feel quite good. I've slowed down my running pace because I was sort of about doing 5 and 10Ks. I was doing about 8.5 minute miling, and now it's definitely not that. It's 9.5 to 10 minute miling. So that's where I am. Just age, fitness, time, all sorts.
It's been quite a long gap, quite a few years.
Well, I've done little bits on and off, but from when I used to do sort of marathons, half marathons and 10Ks, the last one was 2014. Really, anything decent and sort of at a decent standard was 2014 really. And then I've done little bits on and off, but it was really nice to be part of a running community. I wonder whether to mention, this is how I achieved it. I also today went on a short run and looked at what my recovery rate was, because that's really quite interesting. And within, I think it was about 2 minutes, I was back to I was walking and I was back to what my walking heart rate would be. So yeah, the body feels okay. I've been mixing it nicely with yoga, just making sure, and you know, getting a bit of glute strength, because I have issues around knees, so I need to make sure that things are feeling a bit stronger. But yeah, it did. That's a proper smile on my face thinking about it, because it was quite nice to do. It was.
It's really great to hear, because as you know, I've been really enthusiastic about this myself, and I'm really enjoying the runs that I do now, because they feel easier. I mean, I'm breathing through my nose completely now. I did about I think it was about 4K the other day. Breathe through my nose the whole time. Did my best ever time. Didn't feel tight afterwards. I didn't have aches and pains the next day, which often I have a bit of stiffness. I noticed I didn't. So everything's kind of gone up a notch.
Your recovery is excellent.
Yeah.
You can talk to me so easily straight after.
Which I could never do before. And I realized that when I was running before, I was opening my mouth and I was panting. Of course, when you open your mouth, we actually lose something like, is it 40% more moisture when we open and breathe through our mouths. So of course, if you're on the exhale. So if you're running a marathon, for example, imagine that. If you're running 26 miles and you're breathing through your mouth, the amount of fluid that you're losing, which is, you know, of course, we know that when you're running any kind of long distance, you have to ensure that you replenish your fluid levels and your electrolytes, etc. But it really is so different running with breathing through the nose. The other thing you mentioned as well is that that your times have slowed from what they used to be. And it may be as well that when you first start running, breathing through your nose, that your times are also a little bit slower, which is normal, because you literally sometimes can't just get the amount of oxygen in that you need to, or the amount of air, should I say, into your nose, because of the smaller airways. But as you train your muscles and your breathing muscles, that will improve. And I think that's where I'm up to now. So it's got loads of advantages. And the other thing that you mentioned about the recovery is that when you're breathing through your nose, owing to the oxygenation, which actually is better due to the action of the just the gas exchange in your lungs is better when you're breathing through your nose. You're able to oxygenate your cells better, your muscles better, and that's why it really does help to do that. So and it helps with recovery, because you're getting the oxygen to your muscles, which help them to recover. And it really is, you know, it's remarkable. So it's so interesting to hear how you're doing it.
No, previously you used to have a bit of an issue with your calf when you ran. Do you think that you are now sort of more engaged from a relaxation response? So vagus nerve and parasympathetic nervous system is engaged. So that sort of, that short, tight, you know, you're a little bit more of a, I love that book, Chi Running, you know, about how to sort of just run, you know, move with it. And it should feel natural. It should feel fun. It should feel childlike, because put yourself in that running and you're straight back to saber-toothed tigers attacking me. So it must be an emergency, aren't you? So are you enjoying?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually much more mindful when I'm running as well of the actual process of just, I'm enjoying it for what it is. I'm not kind of like going off on a tangent thinking about this or that. I'm actually enjoying the running, enjoying the way that my body feels when I run. It's become, I really look forward to it now as well. And therefore, yes, I probably am more relaxed, but I'm also making sure that I stretch before I run to stretch those muscles out, just so that I'm not running cold. And I also warm up before my run, and it's worth bearing in mind, because anyone who's going to incorporate the nasal breathing, it's good to get you to warm your body up before you're running. You can do that through longer breath holds out on the exhale, and then just breathing, holding your nose, so that you maybe have a breath hold for 30 seconds, and then keep repeating that for a few times. So on my way to the run, I actually do that. I do about 5 or 6 breath holds. Annette notices, because I stopped talking to her.
And does that.
and that helps to warm your body up and get you used to the feeling, and gets the blood flow moving to your muscles as well. So you're already enhancing the warm up. So yeah, everything has changed, and that's why we're so passionate about it, and really glad that it's kind of inspired you to do it.
It's one of the reasons I'm also quite excited about sleeping better. So that's two of us, which seems to correlate at least with doing the breathing.
Yeah.
Just out of interest, you mentioned, of course, you've had a very stressful experience recently, which is moving house. Do you find that you were able to deal with that better, maybe as a result of already incorporating the nasal breathing, because that does help to dampen down the sympathetic nervous response and put you more into parasympathetic mode?
I think because over the last few years, I've picked up quite a few tools about going for walks, speaking, you know, kindly, you know, I think I've got a load of tools that have changed how I am now. And that again, may be part of it. But it was more the physicality that where I noticed stress more, you know, rather than, you know, worry, anxiety, all of those kind of things. They were sort of okay. It was just the lifting, the pushing, the pulling, the moving, the digging, the, you know, painting, this putting blinds up, all of those kind of things. That was where there was discomfort in the body, really.
And of course, like you say, you've got a whole range of resources at your fingertips in terms of the experience.
Always got more to learn, but I've got a few to pull on as well.
We've covered those on previous talks as well with you, haven't we? So
which is great.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that probably covers it, unless there's anything you want to add particularly.
No, but I'll keep you posted on my 5K on Saturday morning, 9 o'clock Saturday morning over at Kingsbury Park in well, sort of North Birmingham, isn't it? But that will not all be nasal breathing, because Trish and I have got a lot to catch up on. I might save it for the after run.
I'd love to do a run with you at some point. I said to Annette the other day, it'd be really fun, because I used to feel I could never keep up with you when you were doing your marathons a few years ago. But now it would be fun, and yeah, hopefully.
And I would love to hear any feedback, because it's great to actually have contact with somebody that you go through the training with them, and then to find out what's going on later on. It's really good to hear it. I don't expect to necessarily, but it's a real bonus.
Well, I thought I'd keep it under the radar for a little bit, just wanted to embed it and see how it felt.
Quite right.
Yeah, brilliant. Right. Yeah, that's really good to hear your news, Jane, and hear how well it's going. So
thank you very, very much.
Thank you too.
Okay.